Small businesses across New South Wales are facing a tougher road ahead as the government scraps the Business Connect program, a vital support service that helped over 60,000 enterprises and contributed millions to the local economy. Let's head to New South Wales now. We're joined by Debbie Hatumale-Uy from Only the Sweet Stuff. Great to have you here on Ticker, Debbie. Talk to us about how Business Connect actually had helped your business to grow.
Sure. The Business Connect program has actually helped me in multiple ways. So first, when I first started, I had nowhere to go and I didn't understand what this world that I had been thrust into. And then it helped me later on when I've entered a growth phase into my business. But also it's helped me full circle because now I'm able to help other small businesses behind me by being a presenter. So I think it's really a really nice whole holistic view around small business and having somewhere to go.
What does it mean for you? What was your first reaction when you heard the program was being cut?
To be honest, I was a little bit sad because not only was my advisor someone that was in business, they were only a couple steps ahead of me, and I could call them or call a session whenever I needed to. These people have lived experience, right? And they could help me navigate this thing that I had no idea on what to do. So to be honest, I was a little bit sad, and the future does look a little bit bleak because I'm not sure where to go next.
One of the issues that we're seeing at the moment is just how difficult it is for small business out there. You would think that a service which is all about connection would be something that governments would want to be carrying on.
You would think so, yeah. Understanding that small business, you're largely alone.
Yeah.
At the top, maybe you'll have a co-partner or a co-founder or someone that you can bounce ideas off. But there is no handbook and there is no crystal ball, right? So understanding that there is a lot of information out there too. There's a lot of noise, but not knowing where to go. So unfortunately, I think that it's a little bit short-sighted for the government to pull a program that's such a reliance on small business, and to the point where I actually got into a back and forth with the Treasurer and the Premier last week in a business forum, asking them why they are pulling a program like this, which is so integral to small business. And it just goes to show that maybe it's a little bit short-sighted, and I'd love to see what could be possible to bring this back for small business.
It's funny, isn't it? Because we know how reliant the economy is on small business, and you can imagine the outrage if they were to cut some other programs that people deem to be socially acceptable these days. Yet business always seems to be in the firing line.
Always. And I don't know why, because a normal day in business, you're in the firing line anyway, right? I have a running joke with one of my staff members, what fire are we putting out today? I do love it. I love the journey of small business and understanding that I have to pivot and learn, but I can only pivot from the tools that I have in my tool belt, right? So understanding that I have somebody to call on that I haven't navigated this before is really integral. And this is what that program did for me. And at all stages, from the beginning where I had no systems in place and didn't understand what was good in business and what was not. I knew that my business was growing, but that's all I knew, right? To the point where now I'm able to call on a finance person to understand my numbers, to understand margin, all of that. Am I in the red? Am I not? All these things I needed somebody to have a sounding board with, and unfortunately it's going to be gone post, September 30 if nothing happens.
Yeah, it's such a fascinating point you make because so many small businesses are finding themselves doing the wrong thing, even though they're not setting out to do the wrong thing. And obviously you've got tax changes constantly happening. You've got every budget, state and federal, there's a different rule that comes in that can impact business as well. Where will you actually now turn for advice and support?
The short answer is I don't know. I've been through many different programs with all these different coaches, and some of them cost me in the thousands. And unfortunately, that's not sustainable for my business, right? Ultimately, sometimes it means, do I pay myself or do I reinvest into the business? So, it is as stark as that by not having a program like this for me to be able to call on. So the short answer is I don't know where I'm going to turn, and that's a bit sad for small business moving forward.
Yeah, very much so. What impact will this have on other small businesses like yours, do you think?
Well, I find myself with all the different changes that you mentioned, international changes, tax laws, all of that changing really, really quickly. And what I'm finding is that I'm in a position where I have to defend my business instead of grow my business. So, I don't know what the answer is here. And I think the decision ultimately will have a big ripple effect. And businesses will ultimately make, mistakes, expensive mistakes, and all these mistakes could be avoided just by having a bit of an ear, a kind ear to listen to. So I don't know what the answer is. And, I mean, we'll end up going to Google and going to,
Yeah.
trying to navigate this way on our own.
Yeah.
But as I mentioned before, there's a lot of noise out there. So what do we believe? So I don't know the answer to that one.
Keep on fighting, keep on putting out those fires. That's all we can do for now. How can people get in touch with you if they want to provide some advice?
Sure, yeah. So we're on the socials, Only the Sweet Stuff, on all channels,
Great.
on LinkedIn as well. Please do reach out if there's any questions and if I can help.
Debbie, really appreciate your time here at Ticker. Thank you.
Thank you so much.